everybody. It's Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa, broadcasting from Miskatonic University with my co-host John Cooney.
Hi, guys.
We had some technical difficulties getting a stream out from the other side. Cthulhu, always a problem for everybody, I swear.
Yeah.
So this is live if you're here right now. And if you're here on the replay, what you don't know is we had quite a journey getting here.
Mm-hmm.
We did. But we are here, and we're going to be painting Kevin on a steampunk background. This is a 3-hoop painting, so I do teach painting to beginner painters, and I like to break that up into 3 categories: 1-hoot, 2-hoot, and 3-hoot. 1-hoot being like, wow, I haven't painted like really since grade school, and 3-hoot is like, I'm painting a few paintings and I want some more challenges and some more techniques, but I don't really want to fly solo yet.
Yeah.
So this is definitely in the 3-hoot category because we got lots of layers, we got stenciling, we got lots of techniques to create the steampunk patina and gears and all of this, plus these awesome tentacles, lots of media. So that's how we rate that out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a 1-hoot painting, go ahead and check out our 1-hoot playlist. But definitely kind of watch along and see where you could be if you painted a few paintings, because this is really like, I would say you'd be ready for this like 10, 20 paintings in.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just need some terms and techniques and some ideas for it to just be super easy. It's not actually that hard to do. It's just about a knowledge base. So this is the painting that we're doing.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. And I think we have a stream.
We do have a stream.
So that voice that you hear is John. If you're brand new here, we like to call him Stunt Hands. And he reads the comments and he deals with whatever new technical challenges arise on YouTube for live broadcasting, which is a new bouquet. A new plethora of interesting challenges every time we go.
Always
I'm definitely
sipping
today.
Yeah, they did an update last night on YouTube, which...
Didn't update us.
It's fine. It's great.
I feel like I need notifications from them like tomorrow might be more adventurous than yesterday. Have you updated all your software, cleared your cookies, and cleaned your browsers? We paint acrylic painting here.
We do.
Usually I'm pretty tight. Got kind of a thing going normally, but just it was like the plane was crashing. We're like, no art today, but there's art today.
It's all good.
This is a 9x12 canvas board that is gessoed and ready to paint, which means you don't have to do another thing to it to paint on it. I'm going to take my beautiful little reference painting over here. We do have picture-in-picture.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about the wishes. We like to, around here, put wishes on our canvas that we paint over and kind of send some positivity into the world. There is a forum on our website at TheArtSherpa.com where you can, if you'd like to send a wish that you might like to see on canvas on the show. So you might see that on the show. Christian, who is 3, has been really wishing, every time he sees the wishes, he wishes for everyone's dreams to come true. So he wanted to say hi to Christian and say we hope that everyone's dreams comes true too. Unless, your dream is to, destroy the world. You might have it Miskatonic. I've gone into a really weird moment. Wish.
Kevin the Kraken.
Kevin the Kraken
He wants to hug
is,
the world.
he's peaceful, but his cousin Cthulhu, not as much.
Yeah.
So, I also have a wish that we have some viral videos. Probably not going to be this one. There is a mom. This is Daughter Paints with Mom, wishes that her mom, who's struggling with lupus, could get some relief from that. And I just want to say I wish that there was a cure for lupus. That's a rough illness. Mary would just really like the world to be more loving.
Yeah.
She just would really appreciate if the world could just knock it off and
I
get on
agree with
board and be more loving and more peaceful, because that would really help everybody's well-being. And I kind of agree with that. Jolene's grandma just had a stroke, and so she's just, not grandma, her grandmother-in-law. And she just had a stroke, and, she's just wishing for some brain healing and some strength for the family. Thorny has had a friend who's had to move to hospice, and she's wishing for strength for that friend's family because it's just a really difficult time. And I wish for that for all families going through hospice. And Joanne, her husband has had some liver trouble due to NASH, which is basically, it's not alcohol-related liver failure. And not that it really, once your liver gives you trouble. And she just would like some strength and healing through that. It's really hard to go through. And then we have had a outpouring right before the show of relief for acid reflux.
And one last one.
Okay.
There's a little tiny space right down there. Can we put happy birthday to CPG in there?
No!
Big happy birthday to our friend Chris Plays Games.
No!
So,
Happy birthday, Chris plays games. You should watch him. It's really fun. Okay. That's your birthday song, kind of like going to Bennigan's, right, Chris? We really like Chris plays games. We watch his show because it's funny.
Yes.
Not really safe for work, but funny.
So yeah, you say for work. Just
Sometimes.
not our work.
Not a guarantee. I don't know. Depends on your office.
Yeah.
I personally, however, like it.
Yes.
So I'm going to just tell you the truth of how it is. Woo! Get in here. All right. So we have our wishes on our canvas. I used watercolor pencil, so it'll disappear into my canvas. So like if I were to mist this with water, you can kind of see how it'll bleed away, and I can scrub it with like my little toothbrush, and you can go, oh, it just disappears. Look at that. Just become part of the patina. That's actually really enjoyable. I'm having an ASMR moment here. Okay.
You just made it streaky.
Blurry. Okay. So over here I have a whole bunch of acrylic paint. And I'm painting heavy body acrylic. I have all of the materials listed below. I am dubious that we're actually going to be using the Cad Red Light and the Burnt Umber today, but I've got these aside just in case I need them for a value.
You have a lot of colors.
And another reason why sometimes I'll raise the rating of the difficulty of a painting. This is still not a complex palette. This is still a simple palette, but this is a lot of colors for new artists to get, and so I have raised the ratings. All right, so what I have here is titanium white, phthalo green.
Can you flip them over for me?
Yes, yellow ochre.
Thank you.
Cad yellow medium. Because we're doing work with hands, either get rubber gloves or switch to hue. Quinacridone magenta, dog's eating purple, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and this is my favorite stuff on the planet, iridescent bright gold fine. Are you crimping? Why are we crimping right now? And then, of course, my acrylic glazing liquid gloss. You just feel like that paint tube could use a little hand. This is my mechanical crimper. If you crimp too far, the cap goes exploding off and then paint shoots out everywhere. It's very entertaining. Also super messy. So I've got sponges here, assorted craft sponges that you can tell I use quite a lot for painting. And here's something important that I have. I have the Timothy Collection Gears stencils. None of this is essential for painting. These are just the things that I use to get these effects. I will say, though, interestingly enough, of these stencils, these were given to me by Timothy.
By Mr. Holtz.
So I win because I totally met Tim Holtz. Yeah, I did. I totally did. Totally talked to him. It was really cool. He's really nice. You can completely fangirl on him. It's completely appropriate. All right. So, he's going to run away next time I see him. I'm going to take out my background colors. So a lot of these are going to go away. I'm going to be working my background colors first. And the first thing I want to do is paint a very dark background to work on. So I'm going to take out my burnt sienna and my phthalo blue. I'll put these here. When I work these together, because they have slightly contrasting elements, they look at what I do with my caps. This is a real problem. Just saying. And I'm going to just paint in the whole background.
Just the whole thing?
Just the whole thing with a combo of these two colors. So I'm going to dip my 2-inch stiff white synthetic brush, right? This is just an inexpensive 2-inch stiff white nylon brush. I'm going to take a little blue out. I'm going to take my burnt sienna out. I'm working it in this up corner so I don't have to keep tearing out sheets from my palette paper. And I'm going to paint the whole canvas in with this dark, dark color at first. Whole thing. This would be an acrylic ground almost. For sure it's an underpainting. So I'm on this 9x12 canvas. Here I'm going to dip in the water again so I can improve flow. When I do these two colors together, they give me a nice kind of grayed green. And it's a really great foundation for steampunk style painting. Steampunk style painting, and I know a couple really great artists in the room right now. I'm sure Jane Wood is here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She's out here
really
with us right now.
fantastic at this methodology. Is a lot about layers. It is a complex art process. But you can't walk away from good design to do it. You still have to pay attention to those good designs. I like how this brush just really works everything into the canvas. This brush says, you will paint. Paint.
Steampunk.
You will do it. Because I said, take that canvas. Take it. Take it from the brush. Okay. So it's a weird day. Because we went to Miskatonic. See, I invoked Miskatonic, and that's where the day went sideways. For those of you that ever read Lovecraft, you're having a cackle right now.
I was thinking Putskatonic, which is like where the time traveling gopher that sees itself lives.
What?
From Groundhog Day. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Where are you? That's not. No, we are. We are in Miskatonic, man. I grew up reading a lot of Lovecraft. Not that that's good for your imagination or night. So see how dark that is? That's really dark. Let's dry that real quick.
Okay, I'll let you. So while she's leaving, I'm going to say hello to everyone because, man, we have a whole bunch of people here hanging out with us today. I'm surprised. Like 400 people here. Wow, guys. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. Don't forget to come out to TheArtSherpa.com where you can come and join us on live chat and our forums and find out about this and all of the other stuff that we have going on, all of the other lessons and tutorials, and you can hang out with other Sherpettes. And don't forget to do your social stuff here where you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let all those other people know. And yes, all that kind of stuff.
All right, I'm going to take my jewelry off. This is a good time for you at home if you're painting long to take off your wedding rings and your jewelry and any of those lovely things. And again, if you're working with real cadmium or are concerned that you might have any allergies at all, it is okay to put on some rubber gloves. So that's what I'm going to do. And that'll prevent any of those worries. Plus, save that really expensive manicure. We get asked a lot, like, why I don't wear my wedding ring because we've been married forever.
Oh, yeah.
We tried in the beginning when we were young and dewy-eyed to wear them, but we are both so crafty and DIY-y. We found that our wedding rings were going to get us killed.
Yes, like, and they were very artsy wedding rings.
They were.
Which were much more pretty than functional.
Yeah, well, not good for, like, say you were throwing a pot on a wheel.
No.
There was a lot of comical kind of Chevy Chase, we're going to die from these wedding ring moments in our lives.
Yeah.
And so we just elected to let that go.
Mm-hmm. And, we still love each other. We still have the rings.
Yeah. They're real pretty. They're in the box. Kids will get them.
But,
So sometimes when you're very, creative, it's important to remember to take off that jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put out a little of my phthalo green. John crimped it so it was all pushed out. And I may even put out a little of my cad yellow. This is real cadmium, so that would be why I'm wearing gloves. Cadmium can't just seep through your skin. Right? But, it's not an antioxidant. Not good for you.
Good, paint handling for your techniques are good to have when you're going to get it on your skin.
So I've got this little sponge. It's got lots of little sides and interesting little bits. And the first trick when you're working with sponges like this is get them wet. Mm-hmm. You just get them damp and squeeze them out so that they're just barely damp. You don't want them soaking. What do sea sponges do? They do all kinds of things. I'm going to pull out some of my little...
Now,
Look, I'm mixing a little of my yellow ochre into this mixture over here. I might add a little white to it. And I'm going to tap down so I don't have any weird spots. Because if I don't do that, if I don't tap down, and there's like, see how there's like dot, 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 dot?
Yeah.
That's because too much white got in a pure value there. And so what I have to do is blend it out. Tapping it out. You don't want to make polka dots. I'll show you a polka dot, what I mean. Okay, so I've got, see this here?
Yeah.
This is what goes wrong in almost everybody's sponging. Look what's happening. And then you're like, wait, it's just getting worse. Now the trick to that, smooth it out and then tap it out. This is true art therapy right here. All that tension, that's going.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm losing it.
Well, we knew you were losing it.
Move your canvas a lot. See? See the patterns happening?
Yeah.
You want to avoid those at there it is. Rub it out. Because I don't want it. I don't want little dots. I want a patina. Now, I have worked the top down here. I don't like that little patina that's happening there. I'm going to pull out some burnt sienna onto my sponge. I'm going to roll it around, dab it around. See what I got here? And I'm going to come, my pressure is pretty light. And sometimes I try to find like shapes. I try to imagine that water has run down my canvas. Well, my metal. This deep sea, cursed metal of the deep. Anyways, I think I'm going a little gaslight here. And I'm trying to follow those patterns. And that is one of the tricks of making like a great one of these, is finding that story in the pattern. Because this is essentially a great abstract.
Now, could you explain what steampunk is?
I can explain what steampunk is. Steampunk is an art style that really arose, gosh, I think started in the 90s, like kind of really picked up, that used a Victorian aesthetic and combined a sense of modern technologies. If the Victorian aesthetic never ended, right, like that sensibility of things never ended, but technology moved forward, often in keeping also with like things like magic. So you'll see elements of Nemo-esque, I feel, design processes. Do you guys remember Captain Nemo? So Nemo's submarine was super steampunk.
Yeah.
The idea of that. And things are, you know, both at once modern and also aged. Now there's subgenres. Now there's like Wild West, right? The Wild Wild West, that show, that was super steampunk. They didn't even know they were being steampunk. But that idea of those things being old and technology being an acronym into the space. There's gas lamp.
Now you just rolled a bunch of yellow ochre in there?
I'm just rolling yellow ochre in there. I want this to be a kind of light background so that Kevin really stands out. I want Kevin to stand out. And so I'm really just trying to get this dusted on here. These are light sponging movements. And my trick will be just trying not to make overt, overly obvious patterns like you can.
Now, do you need
I'm going to get right into this blue right here.
This is a really good question from Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Do you need different pressure if you're working with a stretched canvas?
If you press very hard on a stretched canvas, you can throw the drum. In other words, press the stretching down in the center. And the problem for you is then that you're going to have to retighten it, either with your canvas keys. Those are the weird little pieces of wood that come with your canvas. If you ever wondered what those were. Keep those little pieces of wood. Or by misting the back of the canvas with water.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm pulling this sort of green I created between the yellow and I'm going to enjoy myself here, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm going to be enjoying myself here because this is my favorite part.
Now, can you say Kathy was curious. How did Kevin get his name?
So a while back I was painting a very innocent sailboat. And somebody in the middle of it was like, "Can you add tentacles?" And then somebody else named him Kevin the Kraken.
Well, we were kind of polling in the community, and we were looking for names, and you know, it was we had all thought that he was definitely a Kevin, and so really the community named him Kevin more than any one person.
Named him Kevin.
And
he became Kevin, and he started visiting us for after shows.
Yeah.
He's really only been like a secondary character. I'm using my yellow ochre with my phthalo blue here to mix kind of a little green, turquoisey green, like you might see off of a copper patina. You might want to grab some real cad here, if you have it. Green it up some. Fun stuff, this.
You know,
enjoy it.
I'd be willing to bet that Kevin would hang out with Audrey too, though. I bet you Kevin would hang out with Audrey too from Little Shop of Horrors.
Kevin and Audrey, total friends. Kevin is a jet setter. He has a black light setting. He can be invisible. He also flies. He's visited a cloud once. Pretty much wherever you guys are like, throw some tentacles in.
He collects garden gnomes.
collects garden gnomes. He visited a nice little fall setting. He comes up. The mermaid one went missing. I was sort of sad about that, but we just got nailed by content ID everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we messed with the mouse.
Oh,
So I'm just, see how I'm kind of tapping out this random pattern here?
Yeah.
Now this is crazy because I'm going to have tentacles over here. But good design is good design. And you want to make sure you keep it. But I'm getting one of those polka dots. Look how I'm getting the polka dot. So I've got to tap out that polka dot.
Now, there's a couple good questions coming in here. One, Amanda was asking...
Hi, Amanda.
Can I mist water on the back of a canvas after it's painted? To
Yes.
Help? Oh, okay, good. So you're fine to do just a light spraying on the back to tighten up the drum?
Yeah, a light spraying of just water.
Now, if you have a dent in one area, can you do that repeated times to try to let it dry?
Yeah, that's about really, other than restretching, all you can really do is like one of those mistings. And so if it's beyond the mist, then you've got to restretch. And most pre-stretched canvases don't give you enough extra canvas to easily restretch.
Yeah.
And it's not even like something you can easily take to like a framer and fix, and it's super expensive. So it's something you've got to be able to do yourself. I'm just added a lot of white to this blue, trying to add a lot of value.
Now, Susan was asking, is it
I'm gonna
okay
add some more yellow
to use other brands of paint and things? Because
yeah, nothing I'm using here is like where I'm like, oh, you have to use this. There are other brands of paint. There are other brushes. There are other sea sponges.
And they work just fine.
Other stencils. Yeah, I'm just being honest. Like I'm not like, hey, I'm going to show you how I painted this really cool Kraken, but I'm not going to tell you how I did it.
Right.
So I'm just telling you how I did it. You're welcome to go into your art store, your supplier, or wherever you're at and say, you know,
yeah,
I have this paint and I have these stencils, and make it work. Like Tim Gunn would say, make it work. Just don't even worry about it.
Now, there's another good question. Ethel was asking, does...
Just lightening this here. See how I'm creating these values?
Yeah. Now, Ethel was asking about the stretching of the canvas again.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to use a spray of hot water and a hairdryer? Or are you better off just to let it take its time?
I feel, from experience, that my best result comes from spraying the back, misting the back, right? Generally, if I have art on the front, I'll even bother to do like bottled water. I just don't want any minerals or anything to be seeping through. Spray the back, and I want it somewhere near, like, I like to put it where all the moisture is going to be taken out of the air, like by heaters and stuff like that.
Air conditioner?
Yeah.
And
just where it's going to start pulling it out, because as it dries slowly, it will stretch out.
Yeah, any light breeze with just a little bit of water will actually do it much faster than you think. And
yeah,
just like a little spritz a couple times a day, and it'll take almost any dent out.
Some patience on this is always a virtue. So I'm yellowing this up.
Now there was
we had. I'm going to show you some neat other things that you can do to improve this texture if you wanted.
Now, over by your palette, everyone was noticing your two-faced lipstick there, and they wanted to know what color that was you're wearing.
I don't know, and my hands are painty.
Do I have to? You can pick it up and clean it later, so it doesn't really matter if you get it painty.
Where do they put the color?
On the bottom.
Can I read it? Queen Bee.
So you have Queen Bee.
I have Queen Bee. I really like it. My daughter picked it out. She did. She picked out my just peachy makeup palette that I'm wearing right now. And she said that was her favorite.
Now, Christine's curious. She says, I've got some metallic acrylic in gold and copper. Would that be okay on there?
Yes. Everything is okay on here.
Ooh.
Let's really embrace this idea that everything that we're doing as artists is totally okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm showing you my stuff. If you want exactly my result, then you do what I do. But if you want to have a free range kind of little adventure, do it.
Now, Miss Hendricks was asking here, what does Cinnamon mean when she refers to values?
So, how light or dark something is. So, see, this is dark. This is a dark value. This is closer to black. Mm-hmm. This is closer to white.
Ah.
Just talking about values. We're going to start doing some vocabulary stuff because it's absolutely really reasonable to ask those questions. You know, that's why I paid all those big, crazy dollars to go to art school. Which, by the way, is nearly as expensive as becoming a doctor these days.
It is. School
does
is
not pay
expensive.
as well, though, on the outside. In general. Though I just was talking to somebody who knew an artist that was selling a painting for $500,000, and I just kind of really was like, what?
You're doing some work there.
I went into the wrong painting field. So do you see how this is like really just coming together?
Yeah.
Now, when you get that to a place that you're happy with it, and every one of these backgrounds can be different.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm going to get some more rust on here because I think it'll...
You want some more brown?
Yeah, look nice right there. And every time I do it, it's a little different. I just find a new background in here every time. Right, now I could do a high copper on here and like push a high copper, but I like what I've got. And sometimes I'm going to just be like, I'm good. I'm going to take this time to rinse this acrylic paint out of my sponge because I'd like to use my sponge again.
Yeah.
And rubbing alcohol will save a brush, but it doesn't save a sponge.
Well, while you're doing that, we should have a little celebration.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that we got over 430 people here with us right now?
430 people are watching me do this mess.
They're just
Hi, 430 people watching me do this mess.
We'll just put a little music on there.
I want to have a little sippy.
Well, while we're doing that, we're going to say thank you guys for all coming and hanging out with us again today. You know, we love having all of you people out here to come hang out with us and to paint.
Come here, art hands.
And, you know, it's just, we love having our community and having our sippy together with you and being able to, you know, come out and just spend time with you, you know? So while we're here, we're just going to say thank you. And don't forget, if you're at home and you can't get up and dance, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. You do it too, Cinnamon. Show us the finger wiggles.
I don't have any music.
Oh, you do. You just can't hear it. There you go. Sorry, I didn't let her hear the music is what it was that we had going on. She just didn't hear it. And that's, you know, if you're at home and you can't get up and dance, don't forget to wiggle those fingers and wiggle those toes because it's important to celebrate, even if you can't get up and dance, right?
Exactly. Gotta love life. Celebrate life.
We do, guys. So
I
thank you.
found my gold. It's getting a little stressed out there, John.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So, you do have gold.
I do have gold.
You have
this
some
is
pretty
iridescent, bright gold fine. Yes, other paints are okay.
So,
paints are okay.
You could use like a craft paint gold.
Yeah.
And any of those would be just fine.
But I will not lie to you. This stuff is the bomb diggity.
It really is pretty shiny stuff.
It's pretty cool. And it does some neat stuff. It doesn't oxidize. It uses real metal but doesn't oxidize.
It's got some cool things. Yeah,
I'm going to get my tape. This is low tack tape for artists.
Okay. And now you had a
it's
trick.
Low tackiness.
Now you had a trick for making low tack tape. If you had regular tape, just to stick it to your leg or your arm, right?
Yes. I'm having a...
You're having a
moment.
Which moment what does it go in?
Yeah, I'm having things. So I'm
Okay.
turning this way. And I don't want it to I want these gears to go right off the edge as a texture. So I'm going to tape. I tape down my stencils, and I'll have to flip them to make them work. They stencil on both sides, and then they've got to be clean. Clearly, I haven't done a great job of cleaning my stencil, but then I don't do a good job of cleaning my caps. At least you know I'm being real. I'm going to use this really cool stencil brush. It has a natural bristle, so the trick here is to soften the bristles enough for the stencil is to get them wet, because when you soften bristles...
Can you show us that over there on the main screen there? While you're doing that. No. I mean, and just bring that to your water bucket to the center of the screen.
So I just get it wet, and then I'm even gonna rub this out on my towel.
Oh.
But the wetting of the bristles softens them.
Ah, I see it.
If you don't feel like using bristles, guess what?
Uh,
You could use a sponge. You could
oh,
use
yeah.
a sponge pounce. There's a lot of ways you can do it.
Could
I
you
have
just
these.
use your regular brush and the tips?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now I'm gonna take my gold out past my gears because I want all the edges of the gears to really show. And the gold on my painting is going to be here and on the top of Kevin the Kraken.
Now you're just using gloves because you were using that sponge.
Yeah, and I was using real cadmium, and so for safety's sake, I switched and put on some gloves. Not because it seeps through your skin and kills you or any of that stuff, but because, I'm showing an example because you might have an allergy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be a good example.
We're being responsible YouTubers.
Being responsible people, thinking about the viewers at home.
But, it's just...
But it's okay. You're not like, oh, no. All right, so see, I've made that nice little stencil. What I get to do when I've done that is peel it out, and it leaves that really cool pattern.
Kabang, bang! You have it.
Yeah, right? Isn't that cool?
Now you're just going to put it on there again?
I'm going to put this on here again.
Don't you have to dry that other paint before you put this
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Probably you should totally dry your other paint.
Before you put the other sticker on it. You're just roguing it out.
I'm a rogue artist. You dry your paint. I'm going rogue.
So they were curious, what stencil is that?
This is from the Timothy collection, Stampers Anonymous. Gears.
Gears. Okay.
Gears. And you can get in a pack of them. You can get it where it has the letters and numbers and things. I feel like I could have gone deeper. All right, I'm going to dry now.
You're going to dry now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to save my tape. No point in.
Okay. So while she's doing that, I will say, don't forget to come out and hang out with us. Do all your social things, the like, the comment, the subscribes, and definitely come out to the Art Sherpa. Make sure you sign up there. Dude, she's already back. I don't have to worry about it.
Because I got this weird little edge here. How I'm gonna fix that is I'm gonna dust some gold into it so it feels merged or blended.
Oh yeah.
Blended. I'm gonna line this up. I flipped it over. And then John's going to clean these for me because he's better at it. This is a layer. This is a texture. This isn't a make or break this painting, but in SteamPunk, it never hurts to do some layers. Does it?
No.
I'm going to take this little gold dust out. And look, these are going to overlay on each other. They're just a pattern. They're just a texture. They give us this feel of this world. This is the heart of multimedia art.
Yes.
Look at that.
That is cool.
I love it. Now, I don't want these weird hard edges. So you're going to let John somehow help me clean this.
Okay.
I don't have the cleaning space. And I'm going to just dust. I'm going to take this stencil brush and I'm going to I'm going to scumble and dust this up. The edges here.
I got it.
I'm going to come here and I'm going to just come along here and dust these little edges up because it's a fun day. I don't want too much gold down here because the gold over the purple on Kevin is like the secret sauce of awesome. So I don't want to overwhelm the canvas with too much gold. But it needs to be where it needs to be. And so it's about finding that balance and making sure that this looks like it's an integrated, considered part of my world. Look at that prettiness. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
I'm going to rinse my valuable little stencil brush out. This does so many yummy things, so I want it to last a while. And you'll notice that I often rub these out. I just want to make sure that even as it's resting, the pigment's out of it till I can give it a good spa clean. So the next thing is I've got to dry this and I've got to get a gear on here. Ways you can get a gear on. We're going to have a traceable because I don't expect anybody to draw. We're also going to, I think I can take these off now. We're also going to have a, you could find a gear you liked online and trace it, and I'm going to show you how to draw it in. That made no sense.
Okay, cool.
I'm like, what am I doing today? And to do that, I have a tub.
Now,
and this tub has an opening. I'm just going to tell you but really, guys, this is an approximation. You don't have to be like dead on. This is a 4.5-inch opening.
Now, there's the interesting question here that just came up. So it was about the stencils. So
yes.
And copyright. Now, the stencils themselves are copyrighted by Tim, correct? So you couldn't go make your own stencils and sell them based off of his.
You could not cut his exact stencil and then sell it.
But you could use his stencils to make artwork.
Here's what I would say with stamps and stencils. They have their own set of copyright laws, right? And they have use policies. I check the Stampers Anonymous website. It's very likely that they have a nice use policy that tells you how you can use it. I do believe that you can use these in the production of your original artwork.
Yeah, I did.
But always check every stamp and stencils policy, especially if you're buying from a boutique artist. Like they do boutique level stamps, right? So like we know Brutus Monroe. Check their website, right? If you're getting a digistamp from an artist that you like, that means it's a digital reproduction that you can put into your work. Check their use policy.
Following up on that, Dominic asked an interesting question. She was like, is it now mixed media if you're using a stencil? Oh, it is.
We're mixing our medias.
Okay, cool. It's not still painting though.
But it is still painting.
Oh.
I'm using only acrylic paint, so it's still painting. I haven't glued any other media here, but I'm using mixed media techniques.
Gotcha.
I think if I'm entering an art show, I would still enter this as an acrylic painting because I haven't decoupaged, applied, I haven't added pencil or any other media outside of acrylic. I've stayed still in the acrylic land, but I've given it a mixed media look.
Generally, your shows like the VAA, they put out policies on what qualifies for mixed media or not. You can just
as artists, I think we just never read the entry enough. I'm gonna dry this real fast.
All right. So while she's drying that, what we would love to see is all of your Kevins. So when you guys finish up your Kevins the Krakens, post them up on our Facebook page, post them up on our website, send them to TheArtSherpa.com. We want to see all of your little Kevins hugging ships and playing with gears and being generally steampunked out.
Have you? What?
I said I want to see everybody's Krakens. I want to see all the Kevins get done.
So I have this 4.5-inch little plastic thing that I have. Right. Again, you can just use our traceable if you want. That's going to come out. Everyone should give Janine Goodwin some love because she's been giving us our traceables lately.
Oh, yes.
She's been donating them.
Thank you, Janine.
I'm going to flip this over because I can't get to my corner. Remember, you can move your artwork. And that's something sometimes I even forget. Other artists will catch me like, Cinnamon, turn your canvas. Oh, yeah. Because I'm so drilled down on my creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put this to the side. Now, interestingly enough, I had this tape.
This tape?
This tape.
What about this tape?
What about this tape? Well, this tape is 3.5 inches.
So it makes for a nice
1-inch ring. And I just try to center this. You could draw an X to directly center, but I just eyeball it in because, frankly, at this point, we're just going off the rails here. And you can draw on the inside circle or the outside circle depending on the width of the gear you're trying to create. By the way, you can sharpen these. And I was going to show that, but then I couldn't find my sharpener that has the big opening.
Oh, yeah. The kids
I don't know. Well, we moved the table because we were paint pouring.
We did.
And so I'm just trying. All right, I'm just going to go on the inside here because this is making me crazy. It's going to be a thick gear. But look, see, that gave me a nice circle.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a thick gear today. I don't know what to tell you.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. And I'm going to do my best to eyeball that in as a circle because we don't want it to be an oblong. That's not a good look for what we're doing. I'm going to get this is a number 6 bright. Look on your brushes when I talk about the numbers. They'll be here, number 6, and this is a bright. Bright has a shorter filament, so it'll be a little bit firmer. That means length out from this metal part, the ferrule, is shorter. I like a firm flick synthetic. That's what I'm looking for in an acrylic brush, firm flick synthetic. Bristles are firm, but remember what we just learned? When you get them wet, they soften.
Yeah.
So that makes them kind of a problem for heavy-bodied acrylic paint, except when you want them to be like that. So I'm going to come here and I'm mixing a little of my blue over to my rust again. I might add some of my glazing liquid. I open my glazing liquid. That will help with the dispensing of it. Unplugging it will help it. Plugged it. I love my glazing liquid. This slows down the drying time of my paint and allows me to glaze, which is a thin, transparent coat of paint. And I'm going to paint around my circle a 1-inch little circle for my gear. Right, I'm just trying to paint a nice little 1-inch circle for my gear. And I still have it in this upper corner because I want to have it where I have the easiest use of the angle. And since I can't freehand circles that well, you could see where, for me, tracing or using the double rim method helps me a lot. And I'm just trying to create something that seems machined, because machined things are highly precision. Artists that are masters of the steampunk art, I've noticed, really use their protractors a lot.
Yes.
They're like happy protractors.
A lot of
But I couldn't
precision.
find my protractor.
I know where it's at.
Do you know where it's at?
I do. I know where everything's at.
My studio needs a good organize.
We do.
We're just a hot mess around here. We're just making art. How's everybody doing?
They're doing pretty fantastic. It is. I have to say that everyone is pretty excited about being able to turn the gears, about being able to make gears.
Yeah,
and all of the steampunk stuff. They really like the idea of stenciling. And there was a question about whether or not you could use the stencil brushes instead of the sponge if you just had those to doing the background.
Of course you can.
So
of course. Yes. Yes, you totally can. Getting paint on canvas is just at the pleasure. It's literally at your pleasure.
Yes.
Everything that you have in your little toolbox should be at your pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is when you put it on, it should give you joy. It should make you feel like you're in control and you like the result. If you're just frustrated with that sea sponge, man, take it to the bathroom. Not after you use it with cadmium, but
Yeah.
use it for something else. And if you're like, I really love my scrubby stencil, that's your jam, go with your jam. All we can do as artists is share our process and adapt techniques for our own pleasure.
Yeah.
The whole point of this is, sometimes in school, like we have this thing where we're at our professor's pleasure or instructor's pleasure. But in art, we should be at our own. This really is about just enjoying your own thing here. So I chalked the inside of my tape, and I think last time I chalked the outside of my tape, and that did change the circumference of this gear a little bit. I'm not bothered by it. My choices are I can make it thicker, which I don't think will improve it, or I can just be like, I'm good with it is and erase this chalk. If you're having trouble getting the chalk off, you can always just get your little finger wet and just look at this, I'm rubbing it out. Rub it out.
You wish again? Oh, yeah.
Rub it out. I'm not that stressed about. Look, it's gone.
Yeah.
There it goes, like it never was. Unless you want it,
Yeah.
then you should keep it. Now, this number 6 brush is very square, right? So here's the cool thing that I can do. I can come out and make a little brush stroke back. Then I can come over about an 1/8 of an inch and make another little brush stroke back about the same width out. Feel like, and on occasion, I might grab a little gold paint, watch this, and add it to this metal. Look at that. And sometimes I'm going to use just more burnt sienna to make it feel like rusted old metal. I'm going to come here. I will be turning my canvas, I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is just about eyeballing this in. Master steampunk artists probably will measure both circumferences out. But I'm not one of those. So I get to do it my way. Like Sinatra said. I do, man. I'm a Sinatra artist. I do it my way. Sing my little song. Hang out with my little Sherpa pack. I'm not worried about it. Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to make myself happy in my art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grab a little of the gold here, maybe. And I'm going to add a little of this patina.
Oh, yeah.
This see how I'm just dusting this around? And if I need to turn your canvas. Just be like, all right, I'm gearing up. I'm gearing up. I got a little gold in there.
I like how that gear's turning out a lot.
Yeah, it just comes out okay. And by the time we stick a bunch of tentacles on it, believe you me, nobody's going to be like getting their protractor out. Somebody in your life might. I can't promise you no one you know well, because there's always some young who's like, I measured your vanishing point, man, and I feel like you didn't totally nail it.
Now, my vanishing point is generally, right there about the point where you give me a unasked for critique.
Yeah.
There's going to be a vanishing point.
Dude,
Probably is going to be my
give
temper.
unasked for critiques of people's artwork, man.
No.
There's some advice. It'll increase your lifespan.
Consequently, as an artist, you should be very curated about when you ask people what they think.
I so agree with that, John.
Because you have to. One of the things that I tell Cinnamon all the time is that you have to respect what you're giving people, and so when you go to them and you ask them for input about your work and your art, they have to be worthy to give you that feedback, meaning that they have to be as engaged with you and your artwork for you,
respectful
and respectful of that, to be able to come in and give you feedback. Otherwise, it's just superficial. It can be artificial.
And here's a secret. say you're a new artist,
especially
brand new,
especially,
and you
new
meet an
artists.
experienced artist that you admire,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't actually have the right, based on their experience, to walk up to your little art kit and drop some opinion down on you.
Yeah.
Without you kind of
No.
inviting that in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Some of them will.
The mentor-mentee relationship is one that's voluntarily entered in by both parts, not one that you just get to walk up and be like, I'm going to tell you how it is.
No. I want to all the time. I let it go.
Yeah. I am constantly doing stuff in art that drives her crazy. She's like, what have you gone and done with that pen?
Well, I don't actually say that.
No.
I'll sit there and say, so what you got going on there?
But you can see
That's
it.
what I do. I go, what do you
we've
got
been-
going on there? Ask John what he's got. I don't.
We've been married so long.
Inside him.
I know what she's saying. Your eyes are looking at me like, why is that? I don't. Okay.
But it's like I was like with a friend of mine and everything, and he is doing something that was really damaging to his art.
Yes.
And I asked him, do you mind if I contribute some input there? I ask.
You do, and and we're Cinnamon's
I think
very
I can
respectful
fit
of
one
us
more
guys.
in here, though. That's
Little squeezed
probably.
in there.
Yeah, I'm going to sneak it in.
So we're like
Tentacles are
double
going to
Sherpa.
cover it up. And then the other thing is that we've got another group of little stencils that are going to be coming up here. So if you have a gear area that you're not loving,
Mm-hmm.
or you didn't feel like it's spaced out beautifully, that's okay. Because the second layer of stencils, of high turquoise stencil.
Now, when you're drawing that, you're going to have to give us another little dance because we are double Sherpa. Did you know that?
No!
We are way into the double Sherpa territory.
No! I'm going to have a sippy.
Are you? I
Also,
will-
but I'm going to say I put a gear in by hand.
put-
Freehand that little sucker
You did
in
freehand a little gear in.
on a Saturday in the morning. Na-na-na, I did it. I did it. You know what? I did it. Do the did it dance.
Do the
I did it. I did it. I painted a gear in the steampunk style. The steampunk style. The steampunk style. No one's gonna ask me to sing on my channel. On my channel. On my channel. No, and they shouldn't.
So for you guys who don't know, we like when there's more than 300 of us together, we like to call ourselves Sherpa. We say, we are Sherpa, right? Which is sort of a we just like to celebrate that. But we're like Sherpa almost immediately. So when there's like 400 of us together, we like to say that we're a palette of Sherpas. And then when we get double Sherpas, which is we have as many likes as we have the Sherpettes in the room, then we're double Sherpa.
Are ya?
And we like to celebrate that moment too. So we just like to celebrate. That's us.
Do
you
ya?
should celebrate with us.
Do ya?
Don't
Do
you
ya?
think?
Do
Isn't that
ya?
what we do? Okay. So it's right.
I'm gonna put my 13 here.
Now, why was the 13 used?
I felt like, okay, so I was really having a Lovecraftian moment when
Yeah.
I made this. So, 13.
And, that has a
Symbolic numerology there, right? Except this is lucky 13.
lucky number 13.
I mean, if you're the Kraken, 13 is a good number for you.
Because that's...
If you're breaking dimensional barriers coming into this world, right? 13 be good news for you. I guess it's all just a point of view kind of thing. I need my other stencil back. Is
Maybe.
it clean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's dry. Okay. We're going to have to rubbing alcohol. You can clean them with rubbing alcohol after, so if they get weird. Do-do-do-do-do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a really nice turquoise. I'm going to take my little bright brush that I have, and I'm going to clean it. And I'm going to come over here, and my favorite turquoise, right, is a little phthalo green and a little phthalo blue. And then on half of this, I'm going to add a little of this. You'll see why I'm mixing up some different colors. And then I'm going to put some white over here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this will help me with my stenciling.
Yes.
I'm going to whisper it like bricks.
Stenciling.
Stenciling. So I'm coming and pulling this onto my stencil brush.
Okay.
And I'm going to very
wrong
carefully
You want that
trying
one.
not to get the other stencils involved. I could probably tape these all up if I really, really wanted to protect the holes.
But it could just add more flavor.
Well, here's the deal, man. It is what it is. Now I'm going to add a little
Oh, hey, you just added some drama to that 13.
drama to that stencil, right? Just a little bit there. And then I'm going to come get some gold. Okay? Not a ton, but just some.
Oh.
And I'm going to put that on there. I don't feel like it's dark enough.
You don't?
I don't.
You're going to darken it up?
I'm going to get some blue.
Ooh, some blue.
And darken it up.
Oh, yeah. It does darken it up.
Just darken it up. And I'm just going to work that till I feel like it's got some dimensionality. Which means it really needs to feel like it's popping out from the background.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're
we're
pretty good there.
That's pretty good.
I'll wipe it sort of off. Sort of wipe it off.
Sort of.
Sort of wipe it off. And I guess I flip this over again for angling. And I'm going to come here. And I'm going to come kind of over where I'm not loving my gear.
Oh, you don't love your gear?
A little bit. There was a boo-boo here, so watch
Oh.
this. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then some of that.
So you just add some...
Yeah, I did right here.
Layer.
See, so that whoop,
Oh,
can't see it anymore.
You just layered it in.
I did. I
It-
did just layer it in, and now I'm going to come like, I'm going to add a little more here, some gears, and then I will happy that blendy out, and now I'm going to do my over the gears, making sure that the edge of my stencil is lined up to the edges of my. Do you know what? I'm having a horrifying moment that, like, what if Tim Holtz was watching me do this?
Why would you be horrified? I don't think you're doing anything
Sometimes
wrong
I
with
feel
them.
so, like, in my own little space, like, I feel so safe. I feel so safe where I'm at.
I think you're doing a pretty good job with the stencils. I think that you're using them properly.
I hope so.
It's
I'm really enjoying them, though.
they look really good.
Look, this is my honest truth. This is how I used them before today, and it's probably how I'm going to use them after today.
Now, Tim gave those to you at NAMTA.
Yes.
So you were just sort of walking around NAMTA,
And saw him.
and then you saw, and you didn't believe. You were like,
I was like,
"No,
there's no way that Tim Holtz is here.
that
at this
is
show."
not in the wild."
I think I actually argued with Kimson that he was even there.
Yeah, you and afterwards
She's like,
you
go
were,
say hi to Tim. I'm like, Tim Holtz did not come to this show. Why would he come to this show?
and you were walking by. You're like, no.
No. Because, well, one, there wasn't a line.
No, there was not a throng of screaming fans.
Well, there was me.
well,
I made up for the throng.
But this is
I'm
this
sure
is not
I was
a public
super
show, though.
scary.
This is a trade show.
Yeah.
Literally, like there's like and it's like thousands of dollars to get into tickets. So
I was like a small child holding up my badge. I'm here. I have a brush. We made a brush.
but he was really
made a
cool.
brush.
He was really cool. You got a
Super
picture
cool.
and selfie and stuff. So, but that's how you got the.
That's how I got the stencil.
And then you ran over and
there we go. See, isn't that nice?
That looks really
That's
good.
like just a little bit of texture, right?
Yeah.
So I've layered that. Now, you could do all kinds of things here. You could put all kinds of objects. That chandelier, we made that one time with hearts would look. I mean, there's just.
yeah. Or a girl.
Yeah.
You could put a
the
girl on here.
that is in the dress, she could be like, there's no
Oh,
limit.
you could add like the.
This is art. Use your imagination.
You could add some of the light bulbs that were really good.
Wouldn't the light bulbs look really
in
good
here.
hanging down here?
And then-
See, so this
and-
is all interchangeable, mix and match. Make a collection.
Oh,
I
it'd
don't
be so
mind.
good. You could have Kevin and the girl in the Kraken dress. Oh, see, just all you. And speaking of dresses, hold up your mug. Show them the mug, because you were using one of those mugs. So, and that's available at shop.theartsherpa.com.
There's the Kraken dress.
The
I
Kraken
don't know if
dress.
you can see it.
There it
There you can
goes.
see it.
The
Kraken
Kraken
dress. All right. I'm going to waste a bunch of paint.
Oh, good. We'd like to see paint.
Please don't
Oh no!
panic.
You know, I thought you meant in the good way.
Oh, no.
All right,
There
all
it
right.
goes. It's going bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye, baby, bye-bye. I do like to sometimes, if I'm not going to save my palette, you've just been invited into a weirdness in my studio.
Ooh.
Other people don't know.
They think that.
I like to do this and then just see what happens. It makes me happy.
Oh, yeah.
If I have to waste it anyways, which you don't actually have to do, but I'm teaching in right now, and so therefore.
So the Sherpats had a grand idea. They thought that Kevin needs a clockwork owl like Bubo.
Dude, y'all keep sending me these clockwork birds, and I gotta say, we'd be there for 5 hours painting these birds.
Yeah.
I can paint the bird. I could do a speed paint for you. Can you grab my
Oh,
palette?
yeah,
I don't want to leave the wet paint on the floor. Let's see, there it is.
Then we have little pop-ins all over the floor.
See, now, if I let that dry and then I cut out pieces and then I applied it with soft gel, then that would be multimedia. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. All right, I've got my little jar of stuff.
How about a clockwork sloth? That would be cool.
How about we survive just a clock? So I have my quinacridone red here and my dog's eating purple. I think I will put out my cod yellow. Ooh. I'm going to be using fluid white and regular titanium white. Just a little titanium white. And then a little plop of fluid because I'll wait to put out the fluid because that's going to help me make my little tentacles. Mm-hmm. I'm going to miss this because my studio is hot. My studio's hot, y'all.
Is it?
It's hot. Now, I'm going to need a clean jar of water later. Actually, I might have one clean enough here. Clean water keeps your colors from getting muddy. And so it's good to have some around.
It is, definitely.
Where did I put all my brights? I feel like I'm cleaning them,
There's
but I don't.
There.
They're not making it back into my box.
Oh, I know where they're at. You just touched like several brights.
Not the ones I need.
All right,
though.
I'll go get you brights. Hold on.
It's okay. It's all right. I'm going to just do this. This is a number 4 bright.
Okay.
And I start out doing this. I'm going to use 2 brushes. I'm going to use a small, teeny tiny brush for details. And then just different sizes in. Because basically what I'm going to do is sketch in my whole Kraken in the purple. Just the straight purple. And I'm not going to put in the tentacle.
Okay. So while you're doing that,
shaping.
I'm not going to cut back to the canvas because you're going to just get purple. That way I can go grab you some brushes.
And some water.
Okay.
Clean water would be great. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
No.
You know, I put out all the stuff ahead of time, and then there's always like 3 things.
I'm going to zoom this out so they can see you sketch it.
I'm just sketching this in with paint. You're welcome to sketch it in with chalk or any reasonable thing. And the reason I'm going to put him all in purple is that it's more important to get the design and flow of him and his shape, and then use value to create the twists and space of his interesting and expressive little tentacles. Because whenever you're doing any kind of octopus or squid or kraken, his personality is definitely expressed through the tentacle. Now, I'm stopping the tentacle here because I'm going to want to say that, you know, maybe that tentacle went around the gear. Like I could pop it out here. Uh-oh. I can totally tell I'm going to go off script. This happens to me in art. I'm going to bring this tentacle around. Tentacles need to get thinner and thinner as they go out. Right? So if you thicken a tentacle at the end, you'll have to thicken it all the way up the tentacle. Thank you for the clean water. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so this has got some interesting little personality to it. I'm using the edge of my brush, and this one kind of is coming way down. I like that. When you like it, then you walk away. When you like it, walk away. So I'm going to pull this up here. And it will be painted all purple to the top because there's a lot of Kevin we don't see. And I think that's what I've really loved about Kevin as a character in our art journey is that sometimes we don't see everything of Kevin. So there's still more Kevin to get to know, if that makes sense. I'm going to just wind that tentacle down. All right. This tentacle is going to wind down here. And we'll also carry that around. So see how I'm thicker at where he's coming out of his Kraken body? I'm just pulling paint out. I dip my brush just in the water. One of the tricks about my synthetic brushes, this is a number 4 bright, right, by Bristlon. So these synthetic bristles don't over soak in water. They just get the right amount for my heavy-bodied acrylic paint, which is why I enjoy it. I don't have too much, I don't have too little, it's just right. And that's what we're always looking for, is the just right space in our art journey. Alright, so these two have popped here. We'll see how they... Now I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking design-wise I want this one then to maybe go over here. I'm always adjusting the balance. Yes, I
All
have
right.
gone off script. Those of you that are in this far, like, you're going off script. I'm totally going off script. And when I say going off script is like I'm changing my original design, as is my prerogative. Because I like how this tentacle went behind, and now I'm liking how this tentacle is going over under. And there's a cool layering opportunity that I have here that I completely want to take advantage of. And so I'm gonna, because it pleases me.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
And if you're pleased, then you're winning at art. That's how you win at art, is you find yourself relaxed and happy. Everything else is just weirdness. All right, so I've just made this little S curve. Lots of little S curves.
Mm-hmm.
But see how they make a nice shape in relationship to each other?
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. Nice shapes in relationship to each other. And guess what? We have a big forward-facing tentacle. So this tentacle comes from here. And it curves down. And it goes like that. And it's just straight.
Wow, that was fast. I was like, I couldn't even catch that on those.
I know. It's just a little straight kind of tentacle. Maybe it's a little thicker than its friends, and there it is going off the canvas. Just trying to... And it is the object's relationship to each other that layers this gear in the space of my canvas. Important for what we're doing. I don't know. Is this entertaining?
It is. It's really cool. I'm really digging the way that the
Feeling
tentacles
so
are all coming
weird
together.
today. Sometimes I take you guys on art adventures that I know are like, sometimes they're for you, they're lavender field, and sometimes they're for me, it's tentacles. So I love when you guys enjoy the for me days.
Yeah, they definitely dig in the tentacles. Now, the 13 could be for the number of tentacles that Kevin has.
Is that a general vote?
I don't
Because
know.
I'm not drawing 13.
Well, he doesn't have to show all 13 at once.
That's right. He could have some up.
He could just have some down here.
All right. I'm going to make a little curve. At the top of all of these where I'm joining them, I'm going to curve many of these lines. And then it's in the shading, then I'm going to push some of these tentacles back and pull some of them forward. Because I'm like that. And that's sort of fun. And then it is in the yellow and quinacridone and the gold that his incredible octopusy skin has created. It's really quite stunning, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to kind of wander around the 13 because we don't want to mess with it.
Okay.
There you go. That's a nice wander.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Okay, we're going to wander there. And I will just follow this along, thinning the line as I go. There we go. And I'll paint that all in purple. It's not that bad. Steampunk is not a bad art form.
No, not at all.
There, I'm not done even
It's a
talking on the
style.
subject. I hope y'all like it because there's more I have to say about it artistically.
Wouldn't it be more of a theme than it would be a style?
No, it is an absolute movement in art.
Oh, okay.
With leaders and people that have created subgenres. They have a defined aesthetic that you can look up. So it's an art movement or a school if there is a body of artists that agree to an aesthetic or an ideal.
Oh.
And so, people can take it seriously or not, but it is serious.
Serious art.
Serious art. It is.
I agree.
Speaks to its time, speaks to a feeling, certainly addresses feelings that we have about technology. Collective consciousness of its creators and artists. So I need a couple more tentacles here for balance. So I'm going to look for some space to balance. I kind of like this. It's even nice in the dark. A lot of people would be like, oh, good, I'm good at the silhouette. But I say, let's go all the way to the suckers. So come right here. And I'm going to wander down and wander back. Wander down and over here. I don't know why I did that. Off script. She's traveling off script.
Well, I don't think we had one to begin with, so it's okay.
Yeah, you know how bad I am with scripts.
We don't. We do
If you
bullet
want to
points.
just blow my show, give me a script. And that's it for me. So see how we're doing? You know, these are all things that you can get. And remember, you can even make your own stencils. If you can't get Stampers Anonymous stencils, you can make stencils.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stencils is just, a good hefty material like a paper or plastic that you cut a relief shape out that you press in. So, not like there's a ton of videos on how to make your own.
Yeah.
Most airbrush artists make their own stencils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't purchase prepackaged ones.
Using an X-Acto knife, just cut them out.
Yep. They just design out what they want and they cut it out. They need to as airbrush artists. So there's a lot of videos on that skill. If you're like, man, I can't get these, but I need some, don't even worry about it.
There's lots of steampunk ideas. Steampunk
Are there?
butterflies.
Yeah.
Steampunk calamari.
he kind of is, but don't even start with him because he'll come for you. Kevin will come.
He will.
He'll be like, I'm not having none of that, is what Kevin will say.
I like the idea of a clockwork sloth that constantly needs winding.
Clockwork sloth. Boy, we barely got any likes on the tentacle guy. People were like, wait, what are we painting? I wanted flowers.
And clockwork owls.
You know, so you've got to be true to who you are as an artist. I always am sad when I see artists deviate from who they actually authentically are. You know, because there's no greater joy than just being truthful about your
That
space.
little tentacle is going off the canvas there.
Hmm?
The little tentacle is just
It
gone
did.
off.
It just needed to. So
It just reached off there a little bit.
It
And it
did.
reached back a little.
yeah,
That's
he
cool.
exists in the space that we can see and off the space that we can see. Yeah, I've way left script.
Is he a multi-dimensional creature there?
He's a multi-dimensional creature. But the trick about this is that I'm just going with it, right? Just going with the flowing.
Ooh, clockwork gnomes.
Clockwork gnome. I'm with you there.
They could be orange clockwork gnomes.
So I'm going to get a slightly bigger brush because I don't want to spend forever painting this in. I could go quite big, and I'm just going to paint this all in purple. And you think to yourself, but I spent all that time making that patina. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Deal with it. You learned a lot. It was good for you.
I like it. It's turned out nice.
Yeah, and it's going to get
Now,
real gorgeous
so,
in a
we
minute.
got a really big crowd. We got over 422 people here
Really?
with us. Yeah, it's just been
Steampunking the whole day
just
with me?
steampunking the day
I thought I was
away.
going to be alone this Saturday steampunking. I thought, oh man, this is going to... Though, I'll tell you what, the Beholder did better than I expected too. Like the dragon, like the space fire unicorn. There's a group of us that like to do this stuff, so...
Yes, they love the idea of clockwork orange gnomes.
It's the ultra-violence.
They can't get too ultra violent because they'll break. They're just, they're just up for some shenanigans.
All right. So,
Tentacles.
I has them now. Now, I could be good here. I could be like, all right, I'm good, man. I'm totally done. But I'm not going to be.
But you're not. What else are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to get my little purple out. I'm not even going to rinse it off all that way. I'm going to leave some pigment in it. I'm going to come over here to my white, like you do.
Like you do.
And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating tentacles that are forward and tentacles that are behind.
What do you mean by that? Oh, whoa.
Yep.
You just jumped right in there.
I just jumped right in there, didn't I? I'm going to get a little purple. I'm going to create some highlights, some blendings. See how I'm blending that?
Oh, yeah.
And
I should put this back up there for you. Okay.
first thing that I'm doing, tentacles that are forward, tentacles that are behind. Suddenly, he is three-dimensional shape.
He is.
And it is going to be through these highlights and shadows that we create a reality of the Kevin. Go ahead and grab a little of the pink on here, if you can. We're going to come up, I'm going to make a nice little arc.
Whoop.
All right. There we go. And then I guess this one's going to be a forward-facing tentacle. I'm going to have to change the thumbnail. If I change your painting a lot in the process, I'll change the thumbnail. Because I hate to. I am so like the anti-clickbait artist.
We want you to be able to paint this.
Yeah.
Not show you that we can paint it.
Yeah. Not that that isn't fun. Sometimes I like to show off what I can do, which I don't get to do that much anymore.
We should do some more long paintings where you just like do the multi-layered painting.
Multi-layered multiverse. You know, sometimes, you know, like go out there and remind some of these other artists they're not that safe just because I'm teaching beginning art. All right. No, it's fine. I'm going to add some little tentacle space, some pads. Rinse out a little bit. It's going to be this brush and this either a number 2 or number 0 bright for the rest of this.
Okay.
And I will be just working that out. So the first thing that I like to do,
As you do.
as you do,
Like you do.
I definitely want this shadow to be a reality. And I may put some glazing liquid. This is going to help me do the blend.
Okay.
Whenever you're blending over dry acrylic paint, to get a blend, you need glazing liquid. Something you might not know.
Why is that?
See how it's transparent?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So even though I can't do a wet into wet blend, I can still create a vague space. So I'm pulling this white out here, and I'm wandering in here. What I'm trying to talk about is these sucker pads, which will twist in and out of my view.
Oh, yeah.
They twist in and out of my view, John.
The tentacle turns.
Yep, the tentacle turns. How the days of our lives where the tentacle turns.
No, it's the day of the tentacle.
Now, I'm making decisions. This tentacle is in front of this tentacle or behind. You have to make a choice right now, because if I continue the white line, let me show you. Now we're just demonstrating like spatial relationships. If I continue this, then all of a sudden it's in front of the other tentacle.
It is.
And this is how I can take a background tentacle and make it a foreground tentacle. And I'm going to add a little more white here on this part, but I'm still keeping it quite kind of dark in the purples. The reason being is that when I go to put the suckers on, I need to have a nice value range from the white.
Oh, yeah.
For
contrast?
Yeah, we need that contrast to create those textures. So now we've got this going forward. I'll move to my little brush to give myself some control. Get some Janet Jackson going here. Oh, no. What's happening? Oh, it turned.
It rotated.
The tentacle rotated.
Now, tentacles don't have bones in them, so they can be quite flexible.
They're meandery.
Yeah.
If you lose a little of your rotation, all you've got to do is come back with your purple. Right? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's a beautiful twist. So just feel free to use things as you need to. I'm going to make the twist be on the outside of this one, because I'm tricky like that. Which one's smaller? 4. 4 is smaller than 6.
Yes, it is.
Look at me. So I'm going to start my twist, and I want the twist to be to the outside here. So this tentacle is twisted the other way. Look at that, twisting. And the darkness of the tentacle determines all kinds of things about where the tentacle twists. But now this one, right, is behind this one and this one.
So way back.
So I have to stop the white right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? See how that tells that story of its object relationship? This is just something to think about in space when you're like, how do I do this? It's about object placement. Remember when Tally used to talk about object placement?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were in class with me trying to date me. You should remember you got a good grade.
Who's your teacher?
So I'm going to take this little pad here, and it continues out. Oh, but it's got to stop here, doesn't it? Because that tentacle can be in front. Look at that.
Yeah.
Switching to a smaller brush. Do, 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 do. And then, there we go. Now again, if I have to improve the blend or the twist, I just come back and hedge with my little brush. See me hedging? Hedging.
I do
like
see
a hedge
hedging.
witch.
Like,
And we're all watching The Magicians again, because I'm sure everyone watching today is watching The Magicians. So.
I know we have a lot of Magicians fans in here. There's murmurings of magician talk all the time.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I love that show. All right. So how do we have, look at all this like placement of these objects.
They're all tentacled up.
They're all tentacled up.
That's a
They're
very
all
complicated.
tentacled up.
That's a very complicated tentacle mass.
Now I'm going to come and add a little of my white tentacle stuff here. And I'm going to say, oh man, let's let some of this thick tentacle.
Whoop! What did you do?
Nothing.
Look at that.
I'll fix it.
I see it. Look at that. Oh, I'm zooming in on it. Oh, look at that big boo boo.
Gosh,
Ha ha ha! I see it, boo boo. You have to fix it now. Show us how
I'm
you
going to
fix
just
it.
have a
Okay.
wet brush. I'm going to.
I'm not reveling in her mistake.
Everything underneath is dry, so what I can do is come back with a wet brush.
I like seeing her fix
See
it.
how I'm pushing that back?
She just pushed it right in there. Look
Yeah.
at that. Oh wait, no, you move it. You just now erased it.
It's gone. Okay. Phew.
I like seeing her fix these things.
Scared me to deaths. All right, back to the painting.
All right, let's see you do it.
So I'm not really
Oh, there it
painting
goes.
on the exact perfect easel for teaching here.
No, yeah, it's true. We need to get you the smaller because you're using a little smaller canvas there.
What I need is an easel that captures this without a lip
Yeah.
and will let me do very smaller canvases, because I'm probably not going to do like maybe but one time a 4860 for y'all.
No, was that you used just a brush with some water on it to erase that, right?
I used a brush with clean water and a towel to erase it.
Which brush did you use?
It was just my number 6
Just
bright
your-
Bristlon. It has a good sharp edge, and my water's clean, and the paint underneath was well dry, and I'm using a quality paint, so that affords me some leeway. That's another good reason. Like I said, you always got to paint your budget, but I use the products I use for a reason.
Yeah, professional paints will when they dry, they don't tend to
They don't underbind, so you can really, really work them.
Yeah.
All right, so now I've got this shadowing. We feel pretty good about that, don't we? I hope so, because that's what happened. I'm going to come here, got a little purple dusting on my brush. But I need a glaze.
See, a good magician has 6 fingers, so one would think that a magical Kraken might have 13 tentacles.
Okay. You really, we're really, one, that's such a Chatwin reference right there. Don't even think you can mess with me, because you fall asleep. I'll be tired. I'm just going to say, y'all, Julie is kind of a problem, and these people really need to think about their friendship with her. She's making some crazy life decisions. Like, at first I was full on Team Julia, because I felt like, who wants to be left out of the magical awesomeness? But now that she's just like, she's starting stuff with like deities and...
It's like, what are you doing?
Saying. Now she's lost her shade. All right. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Oh.
Just making those twists, but this has got to go behind, right?
It does. It disappears. Oh, there it is. There's a little Kraken.
So it's kind of peeking out.
Mm-hmm.
Peeking out. It's peeking out.
Whoop.
And because
I
this
like
is this
that.
and this is this here,
It
so
goes,
then
kind of blends.
we'll just do this right here. It
Oh,
layers it, doesn't it? Look at these tentacles
yeah.
push forward and pull back.
That's pretty cool.
By the way, this is the same process by which we fold fabric.
I thought you were going to say time.
Well, sure. Now I'm going to let this tentacle go in front of that one. Look at that.
Oh, there it goes. Whoosh. What'd you do? Whoop.
Did that happen? Yes, it did.
You used your thumb to erase that.
I did just thumb erase that. And I feel like I'm going to
like
leave
that.
this one just, it's a plain tentacle.
Yeah, it looks good.
Right? So now I'm kind of happy with my layout. I'm going to take my values and sort of define things. Because that's fun for me. Give myself some layers. And now I'm going to go get my red and a little purple. Right?
Yeah.
Let's get a little glaze now. And we're going to start painting the values of the tentacles. 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 Yes, we are.
Now that looks a little iridescent there, almost.
Well, we're going to actually create some unbelievable iridescence in it with the gold paint. And if you don't have it, it's not going to ruin your painting. All I can do is show you some cool things, but you don't have to do them. It's still free will. Right? I'm just coming here. I'm sure I'm going to need more glazing.
Oh, so Marie says, tell Cinnamon no spoilers because not everyone's caught up yet.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think
good point.
Thank
you, Marique.
But you could say that.
No.
Yeah,
she's right.
But I mean,
Totally right. No spoilers. So sorry.
Generally speaking, we'll be careful about.
I'm going to bring some dark purple here. I want to make sure that this is just really deep here.
Okay.
So it feels like underneath is very dark. Darker than the deep, dark, deep. And I'm going to create values. Good and old-fashioned Kraken values.
Kraken values.
Sorry. I'm not trying to be a big pain in the bottom.
No,
I just can't help it.
I think this is awesome. I like how the Krakens are turning out here.
Yeah, it's fun to just paint
Tentacles.
this out, and I know I need this to be darker and more shaded to push it back, right? What am I doing? I'm pushing it back.
So I have to wonder if there's anybody out there who's played Day of the Tentacle. It's one of my
There has to be. We
one of
have to
my
have a
favorite
huge fan base for Day of the Tentacle in this room.
Yeah.
There's just no way that in this room we do not have like a massive Day of the Tentacle space. How I get into my oranges with my purple without graying it out is a couple jars of water
Yeah, we
and
switched.
creating these pinky purple spaces, fields, safe spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call these safe spaces, man. These are safe spaces.
Ooh, Sean thinks this would make an awesome quilted wall hanging.
Okay, full on. If you do it, you got to send it to me. So I would go bananas for that.
Oh.
Bananas.
So
and I'm just lightening this value. I'm trying to create the space. Again, look, I'm just trying to show that these tentacles go before the other tentacles.
Yeah, so Day of the Tentacle was a game from the mid-'90s that came out. That was one of those click choose your own adventure games, and it was really good. So
It was really good. I just grabbed some purple, and I'm just trying to create some blends in these spaces.
Rachel was asking what that was.
I've got a little white on my brush. I'm coming down, and I'm just making sure that my tentacles themselves have some personality. Like, get some more purple, some more red. These are some personality tentacles, right?
The personality tentacles.
They have beautiful skins. All krakens and octopuses and things have beautiful, beautiful skins. So it's important that I make sure that those colors that I'm using are engaging and interesting. Because he would be interesting
So is it?
even among other
So
beings like himself.
does each tentacle have its own personality? Like
Yeah, like, like Doc Ock, yeah.
or the AI from Portal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
By the way, cake is totally a lie. That is a spoiler.
I don't know. I think
Kevin has no cake.
I think Kevin has cake. as
Kevin
well.
has no
He
cake.
doesn't
Don't
settle
believe
for
in Kevin's
anything.
cake. Kevin's cupcake is just to fatten you up.
Boy, we don't have some obscure references there.
We do. I'm sorry. So see how we've created these values?
Mm-hmm.
And you can start to see his tentacles pull forward and pull back. I'm going to get some clean brushes now.
Okay.
I'm going to go over here into my number 8 bright. And I'm going to do some cool stuff. I'm going to bring my quinacridone, a little of my CAD over to my quinacridone, making this really incredible kind of orangey color.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to even get white where I need to. And we're going to start creating this drama blend. Drama bomb! I need more glazing. It's not blending enough. And where it's not blending enough, you get more quinacridone and more glaze because you're trying to blend this Kraken.
Now, given this color palette, if
Yes.
you wanted to give Kevin some more blue, would it be phthalo or ultramarine?
Phthalo.
Phthalo, okay. And why is that?
Because you can do either, but phthalo will work the best with all the colors.
Because it'll blend.
Yeah, it'll give you the best results in your blends. And the important thing about this is this blending that we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get some more of this right here, and I'm going to get some just yellow, and we're going to, look at that.
Oh, wow.
We're just pulling this in. Need some more pink. And this is just about trying to make sure when I come here, use your glazing medium. If your paint is not wet into wet, glazing medium is your friend. Lots of ways to blend acrylics. Just pulling this down. Lots of ways to blend acrylics. And see, they're blending because of this glazing medium. So I'm going over dry and wet into wet. Glazing medium allows me to do that. So right here is wet into wet. That's a nice blend. But over the dry, does a nice blend. And that's what we want. We're just working that out. It's super dramatic. Super drama. Super drama bomb. Well, we've just jumped a bunch of properties today, haven't we?
You're gonna jump the shark while you're at it?
Well, later, because you know there's the big shark event coming
The
in the
big
summer.
shark event.
There's a big shark event coming in the summer. So if you are a shark fan, you're going to love me so much later this year.
There'll be some
If you're not a shark fan, you're going to take a little vacation from my channel for a little, like about a week.
There'll be about a week of it, you know.
About a week of sharks.
We don't exactly know what week.
Oh, we know exactly what week.
Well, you know, but
We're just not telling you exactly what week. You don't get to know
yeah, we're gonna keep this week of sharks a secret,
until we start telling you about the week of sharks.
which won't be told you when the shark of. Yeah, no, can't say it.
Can't say it. Some of you that already know. But I'll tell you right now, being in the Facebook group for the TheArtSherpa official,
You'd know more.
you'd know more. Being on the webpage, you might know more. So see, I'm just... Look at how this helps my twist.
It really does. It gives it like some like that body shape.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just doing the gold, so I'm not as worried about putting gloves on right now. That is why I'm not worried. Put out a little gold.
Little gold. What are you gonna do with this magical gold?
This is my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing. So I got my small sea sponge.
A small sea sponge.
And I wrung it out.
We'll call
Got
it.
it damp and wrung it out. Makes it soft, right?
We'll call this small sea sponge Bob.
Bob here. And I'm tapping Bob around, just making sure Bob has got some nice paint on him. If I had a beautiful manicure, my gloves would be back on. And I'm going to, as lightly as I can, dab my gold paint over Kevin's top. It's his, like, you know how, like, octopuses and krakens and stuff have that, like, beautiful spotted skin?
Mm-hmm.
This is Kevin's. He's special. He's made with 24 karat gold love.
He must
This is a gorgeous element in the painting. And this is what I mean about this type of art is we're taking it, we're going, we're pushing, we're pushing, we're pushing. We're not being satisfied. Mm-mm. Are we being satisfied? Can you see it layering up there?
Mm-hmm.
We want it. Like Moana, I'm so shiny. My son and I love that crab so much. I felt like I totally felt that crab's feels.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he didn't just take his lot in life. He determined who he wanted to be, and he shined it up. Made a collection. I'm just coming down the tentacle. Just, again, and yes, you could use your scrumble.
Oh.
Here, if you what you like is your scrumble, use your scrumble. Don't feel like
I
you
like
can't.
it.
I am using the edge of my sponge to dust down the front of Mr. Tentacle here. Right? That's what's giving me joy. What's giving you joy today? I wonder.
I like
Hopefully
the tentacles.
painting with us
Tentacles.
live on YouTube. I don't know.
Ooh. That's an interesting.
What?
So, Miss Monkey, I think,
Okay.
would love to see a Sherpa Terra deck.
Ooh.
That'd be
That's a
interesting.
long design process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just like
That's a lot of
so
artwork.
many.
So many pieces of art for that.
It would be a lot. All right. So all I've got to do now to be finished with Kevin, he's nearly done, right, is a detail brush, and I'm going to use some fluid paint right here. Fluid paint is soft-bodied paint. Little inside trick, so's craft paint.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't have the heavy bodies of the heavy-body acrylic paint.
Ah.
So what you're looking for is something that will just flow off your brush super easily. And I'm going to look for a brush that I can easily work. This is a number 2 round. See how small it is? I may even go smaller. It's for acrylic painting. It's going to be softer in its bristle. Right? I just want a couple of... So I'm mixing some of my purple here to give myself a shadow that I can put back in the center of my circle if I need it. I rinse it off, and I'm going to just load it with the purple. I mean, not the purple, the white! And I'm going to enjoy making little circles, little ovals. And that little oval. Just putting little sucker pads so he can give you kisses. Kevin would like to give you kisses. Do you feel like being kissed by Kevin? Do you feel like being kissed by Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah? I would run.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? But you know, hey. Wherever you're at. See? Now the circles, much like the tentacles, will get smaller as they go down. You can put them in order. I like to randomize them. Makes me happy. Artistically. You could be like, no, I have observed 1,000 octopi. And this is how their suckers must be. And duplicate that. And that is a thing that you can do. That is a thing that you can do. I hope everyone's going to be here Tuesday for the lavender paint.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be about a 2-hooter. And then Thursday, we have the big art quest. But remember to come by the Facebook page on Friday for the sketching lesson. Free. Free.
Free.
Now, when I come down the tentacle, I just actually start to make dots. I don't try to make little circles. Just making little dots. Just to say that they're there. Just to kind of approximate some tentacles. Make a little circle here. To see how I'm tentacling it up. Not easy?
Mm-hmm.
Just simple stuff. Having fun painting. Bringing joy into our lives. It's fun to paint more imaginative stuff because it kicks over parts of your brain and heart that you need.
Mm-hmm.
That we need as a species. All right, just making little dots.
They're dots.
Just little highlights. I might even add, see, I added a little bit of drama to that tentacle.
Oh, yeah. It's just a little highlight there.
Little highlight to my tentacle. Little highlight to
No,
my
you're gonna
tentacle.
fill those in a little bit, huh?
All I do is come back with a little shadow
Just a little shadow.
inside them.
And that's really
Just to define them a little bit more even. It's just an extra little step that I have that I can do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do it, not do it. It's really up to you as an artist.
Oh.
Make some circles in here. Just to say, hey, inside, this is suckers. There's a mouth there. Maybe. We don't know.
I like those. So you just sort of loop, loop, loop.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. Making little circles. Just talking about little tentacle bits. Like you do.
So now we have some other stuff coming up this week.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff coming up this week.
Yes, we do.
And now,
art all week. Free art all week.
They were asking when we think we're going to do our next viewer mail, our happy mail.
I guess next Sunday is what it's looking like.
We're looking like next Sunday.
Yeah.
But we have to. We're probably going to be doing one here.
We'll put it on the schedule.
We're going to put it up on the schedule. We're going to talk to. We have promised to make no promises.
We promise to make no promises, and John tries to get me to promise because he'll go, "When do you think we're going to do that?"
Yeah, when are we going to do that? And then I make her do that. But we got to do one soon.
It's what we're talking about right now is next Sunday.
Yeah.
For you people on the replay, means nothing. Except at some point when we had a YouTube channel, we had a viewer mail.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just putting these little circles where I want them. Tip of my brush, just making little circles, right? It's fun. Then I'm going to come here and get my dark, dark purple. I'm using my fluid paint to thin it. You can even use your glaze if you need to. And then you can go back in, if you want.
If you want.
And add a shadow in some of your tentacles.
Oh, yeah. Now, see, that makes them really pop out.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. That just makes them go.
Y'all don't know how much John keeps me on the straight and narrow because, like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm done. And he's like, no, I want shadows. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. Well, you just make these things look so cool. I really like the tentacles.
Just as fun. And you can take as much time. You can slow down. I'm moving. I've got a class. I've got to,
Now,
You can be, like, slow and methodical and really thought out and considered in your shadows and your highlights.
Now, we nicknamed the broadcaster here Kevin.
Yes.
Because it has one big eye and lots of tentacles that come out the back.
Did we?
Yeah. Well, and that's why, remember, I painted the front of it. I primed the entire front of my case.
I was supposed to paint it, and I'm like, when do you imagine I'm doing that?
So I've been waiting for her to paint Kevin.
It's not happening.
On my
keep telling you, it's
broadcaster.
not happening. We're busy.
We are all the time. Although I could turn it into a project.
Not watchable. So I'm using my glaze to slow down the drying time of my paint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even being that neat. You could be really, really neat if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to say some of these have a shadow so that you feel like, they've got some depth in them and they're popping.
They really do.
And you've got to just make a decision as an artist what you think you would like the best. As soon as that is all done, you get to sign your work.
Wow, you're almost done.
I am. I'm going to take my fluid paint and my purple. I'm going to do an interesting thing. I'll come right here.
Oh, wait.
And I'm going to... I always like to find a weird place to sign my work. There you go. It's signed.
Wow, hey, we're all done.
We're all done. We faced the SteamPunk challenge. We'll probably be back to be challenged by SteamPunk again. Information about this broadcast is in the description below and generally share it out there into the nets. Check us on Twitter, share on Twitter. Check us on Instagram, share on Instagram. Go to the Facebook group, The Art Sherpa Official. If you're on the quest, make sure you're part of the Big Art Quest. And for sure, go to TheArtSherpa.com where live chat will continue.
Yes.
All day.
All day.
Thank you for hanging in. It's a
and
long project, so I
definitely-
appreciate you hanging in for it.
Yeah, we definitely just share your pictures. I want to see all the Kevins. I just want to make sure I emphasize that so much. Please share them for me because I love to see and collect them.
However you want to get it done. I'm going to see you for some lavender on Tuesday. See you at the easel really soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.